This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Twist it. That's why I twist it.
Is rated MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes, and another yes. You are right. It does not matter if I am sitting in this chair or anyone else. It just matters who's taking a listen to what the hell's going on. That's for sure. Anyways, welcome to this freaky Wednesday, because that's what it seems like. It is, let's see, what is it? The 8th of October of 2025, day 281st of the year, and only 84 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
Radio Big.
Yep, hanging out with Radio Big and doing the stuff that they get to do. No doubty about that one as we are talking. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. No doubt about that. So how has your last 24 hours or so been? Because that was kind of the last time we were able to hang out, unless you listened to the podcast yesterday. They came out at noon Eastern time, yeah, because that's kind of how that stuff goes. So if you're good with this, I'm good with this, for us to talk a little bit on how you can interact with the show. All you have to do is go to safetyfm.com. That's kind of an easy way to do that. Once you get there, there's all kinds of information. You can do it from there, or you can go to callinradio.com. If you go to callinradio.com, it's kind of the simplest process. You'll get to a section where it's audio, video, and text messaging. Right there. Boom. It gives me a little prompt over here on my screen reader. And then I know where we're at and what needs to be done. So if you're good with that, I'm good with that. We can do all kinds of interesting stuff. And then once you get into that, our show consists of safety in the news and safety. That's just kind of how it goes. And then from that particular portion, we do all kinds of stuff. We bring in some professional broadcasters. They start talking away about some of the stuff that they want to talk about. And then we go from there. That's it. That is the copaesthetics of everything going on. It's an interesting process, to say the least. So there you go. So once we get into all the stuff, I'll give you everything that I got, especially on this Whip 'em Out Wednesday. No doubt about that. And then we just kind of move forward and go from there. So there you go. There you go. So with that being said, let's start getting into it right away. Let's start talking about what the hell was trending in the overnight.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so as I take a look around on what the hell was trending, it's going to kind of go like this as we're going to talk a little bit about everything going on inside of the multiverse, of course. Notable and noteworthy, a beloved artist works hits the auction block. We'll talk about that. Also, Mark Sanchez's family speaks out, and Diddy asked President Trump for a pardon. There you go. Also, Zelda Williams is not a fan of AI, especially when it comes to her dad. And then Windsor family values face pressure this time contained across the pond. More details about that in the Royals. So there you go. If you're good with it, I'm good with it. I can bring in my friends from Feature Story News. That way they can tell you what the hell's going on their side of the verse. So if you're good with this, I'm good with it. So let's get into some news stories because it seems like a cool thing to do right now.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News, I'm Rebecca Bunsen in Mumbai. Gold prices have hit a record high of over $4,000 an ounce as unease intensifies in financial markets. The precious metal is often considered a safe haven during economic turmoil. Tony Waterman has more.
Gold prices have spiked 50% this year, an indication that investors are nervous about what lies ahead for the U.S. economy. Among the things to be concerned about are tariffs, a government shutdown, a weakening labor market, and high valuations of AI stocks. Goldman Sachs is forecasting gold prices could hit $4,900 an ounce by the end of the year. The last time the precious metal spiked so spectacularly was in 1979, during the height of the inflation crisis and the Iranian Revolution. Tony Waterman, Washington.
The U.S. Supreme Court has signaled support for a Christian therapist challenging the state of Colorado's ban on the practice of conversion therapy for minors. The ruling could have sweeping implications for similar laws across more than 20 states. Ira Spitzer reports.
The Supreme Court's conservative majority appeared likely to side with a Colorado therapist who says the state's ban on so-called conversion therapy violates her free speech rights. Conversion therapy refers to counseling aimed at changing a person's sexual orientation or gender identity. It's a practice that has been rejected by major medical organizations as harmful and ineffective. During the first and only round of oral arguments, several justices questioned Colorado's legal team about whether the law censors what therapists can say to clients rather than how they practice. A ruling expected by June could affect similar laws in more than 20 states. Ira Spitzer, San Francisco.
The Trump administration is ramping up tariffs, this time targeting foreign truck makers. President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on medium and heavy-duty trucks imported into the U.S. from November the 1st. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
The Trump administration says it's all about protecting U.S. manufacturers from unfair outside competition. There are a few weeks before this new tariff rate will come into effect, 25% from November the 1st. Potentially a bit of time for truck makers to petition the White House to get the tariff removed. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce has warned that it will affect American consumers, driving up prices on forecourts across the country. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer is beginning a 2-day visit to India on Wednesday. He's joined by more than 100 leaders following a recently signed trade deal between the two countries. From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, why would former British Prime Minister Tony Blair want to play a role in the Transitional Authority, the so-called Board of Peace, that President Trump envisages governing Gaza, at least on a temporary basis in the event that the war there comes to an end? Alistair Campbell was Downing Street Press Secretary and Tony Blair's official spokesman, and he's got some thoughts on why the former UK leader, long out of office and doing well financially, would want to take on Gaza, especially especially given that he remains a controversial figure in the Middle East.
I guess the controversy in relation to the Middle East, people will say, well, that focuses on his role in particular in Afghanistan and Iraq. But all I would say is that Tony Blair is not one of those politicians who's kind of left office and then just sort of, gone off to make lots of money. He's done that for sure, but he's done that so that he can run the institute that he runs, and also so that he can stay involved in some of these really difficult, complex situations. So I think he's somebody there whose heart is in the right place, desperately wants this thing to succeed, desperately wants to see peace in the Middle East. And also I think from the perspective of the Palestinian side, I actually think will be making the case constantly.
Alistair Campbell spoke to Al Arabiya News there, and tomorrow more of that interview when he shares his view of the Trump 20-point peace plan for Gaza. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
The main news again. Gold prices have hit a record high of over $4,000 an ounce as unease intensifies in financial markets. The US Supreme Court has signalled support for a Christian therapist challenging the state of Colorado's ban on the practice of conversion therapy for minors. The Trump administration is ramping up tariffs, this time targeting foreign truck makers with a 25% levy. And that is the latest feature story news. Rebecca Bunden reporting.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
If you're anything like me, you have certain tendencies to put things off, such as filing taxes, seeing the doctor, working on that home improvement project that you're supposed to be doing, but you just haven't gotten to it. And while most of the times it works out. The one thing in life that you really cannot afford to wait on is setting up term coverage life insurance. You've probably seen life insurance commercials on TV and thought, yeah, I'll look into it later. Well, the answer is no. This isn't something that you can wait for. Choose life insurance through Ladder today. Ladder is 100% digitals, no doctors, no needles, no paperwork. When you apply for $3 million in coverage or less, just answer a few questions about your health in an application. Ladder's customers rate them 4.8 out of 5 stars on Trustpilot, and they've made Forbes' Best Life Insurance in 2021's list. You just need a few minutes and a phone or a laptop to apply. Ladder's smart algorithm works in real time, so you'll find out if you're instantly approved. No hidden fees, cancel anytime, get full refund if you change your mind in the first 30 days. Ladder policies are issued by insurers with long proven histories of paying claims. They're rated A and A+ by AM Best. Finally, since life insurance costs more as you age, now is the time to cross it off your list. So go to ladder.com/safetyfm today to see if you're instantly approved. That's LADDER life.com/safetyfm. Ladderlife.com/safetyfm.
Safety never sounded so terrible. Rated R Safety Show.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Warning. Listening to other radio stations could cause testicle shrinkage.
I'm talking truth.
Okay, who really wants that? Anyways, let's see, 17 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Okay, Prime Minister of Denmark announced at Tuesday's opening of the parliament that her intention to pass a law banning children under the age of 15 from using social media. In Europe, Denmark joins Norway and France in establishing similar age restrictions for social media via Sweden Herald. Also in Australia, similar Australian laws which bans media use for those under 16 goes into effect on December the 10th. The law requires platforms to age verify users or face fines on non-compliance. Meanwhile, in Milwaukee, Samantha and Mike Gorlick tell local media that they are part of the Wait Until the 8th pledge. How does this have to go inside with the story? Okay, in which parents commit waiting until their kids reached 8th grade before giving them smartphones. Okay, now I get it. In the meantime, they've installed landlines back into their home so that their third grade daughter can be reached by friends with a bit more independence without having to dedicate it to a device. Also, in a dystopian future of future hellscape, The Guardian reports the rise of AI dating sites. What? Let's see. Guys connect with digital girlfriends who flirt, chat, and even send AI-generated nude pics. The demands at the highest in the age group of 18 to 24 among users who have grown up playing video games and creating avatars, according to the report. So worth asking, can we keep actively fueling the apparent inevitable population collapse headed for the West? In the world of real relationships, researchers by the British psychological people, Robin Dunbar, reconfirms the theory that humans have brain capacity of about 150 personal relationships and connections. He traced the number back to the Gunter-Gatherer kinship networks, Bronze Age communities, Anglo-Saxon villages in medieval Europe, Mormon wagon trains in the 19th centuries, and modern German trailer parks, according to the Wall Street Journal. Seems like there was a lot going on in that news story. Kind of felt like it went a little everywhere. But I kind of feel like that's how my brain goes all the time. A little bit of everywhere as we are talking. So what do you think? Interesting time, right? Okay, what else? Last week, an unidentified crook stole 50 pounds of fiberglass dinosaur statue nicknamed Claire outside a Sinclair gas station in Brentwood area of Los Angeles. Now Claire is back wrapped in a shroud and with an apology note reading, "I'm sorry for stealing this. Please don't charge me." So far, no arrests have been made. Security footage of the heist has gone viral. Even actress Jamie Lee Curtis weighed in, writing on Instagram, "Really? Hey, you with the fancy truck. Really? You need to steal a dinosaur from in front of a Sinclair gas station? Really? Not cool, dude. Not cool." This is according to NBC News. A dinosaur in front of a gas station. Like, what is this going to do for you? Like, I start thinking about all this kind of weird stuff. If I steal something like that, let's just use this as an example. Let's say I take it to my house. Who am I going to be able to show this to? Like, I'm going to have this at my household and go, "Hey, take a look at this thing." Like, people are not going to put two and two together right away of what the hell's going on.
More sarcasm than a Mortal Kombat beatdown. Rated R Safety Show.
Just a thought, just a thought. Anyways, Nobel Week. 3 Americans are taking home the Nobel Prize in Physics this year. John Clark, Michael H. DeVrot, and John M. Martinez share the prize with experiments that revealed quantum physics in action. In addition to the recognition, they will split the $11 million Swedish kroner prize 3 ways, which is about $400,000 US. Clark tells the media, put it mildly, it was the surprise of my life. The details of Clark's and his colleagues' research are beyond simple understanding, but Clark says one of the underlying reasons that the cell phones work is because of all the work. So there's that. This is according to CNN. Yeah. I mean, that seems like a lot of stuff to try to understand there. Yeah. So there you go. Let's not take a deep dive with this one because we're going to end up somewhere. I heard that we're probably going to be like, what the hell just happened? Okay, so let's talk about this. 30 of Bob Ross's paintings will be up for auction to help offset the cost of licensing fees of small public TV stations that have been affected by the cuts of federal funding. The idea is to help stations in need with the licensing fees that allow them to show popular programs that include The Best Joy of Painting, based on Ross's show, American's Test Kitchen, Julia Child's French Chef Classic, and The Old House. The paintings will include serene mountain vistas and lake scenes, and are estimated to be worth about $850,000 to $1.4 million. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on there. What do you think? Just asking. Just want to have a better understanding here. So there you go. What is this? Do we want to talk about this? Let's skip that one. Okay, let's talk about the sick bay real quick. Deion Sanders said on Tuesday he's undergoing a procedure to deal with blood clots in his legs, though he is expected to return to practice field today. He was slim on details about the problem and procedure, and others than saying that it's a hereditary and that there's nothing that I could have done to stop what's transpiring. So there you go. Guy's going to have a procedure. These things happen, Duh. As we get older. Things are getting, happening. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Okay. Bear with me, because we're about to get into the swamp. A recently declassified CIA memo further demonstrates that former President Joe Biden used his power as vice president to corruptly influence the policy in Ukraine. Biden traveled to Kiev in December of 2015 and gave the talk about corruption in the country. Ukraine officials relayed to their American counterpart that there was a double standard for Biden to talk about corruption there, because from their perspective, there was obviously selling access and influence. And then here's the other part. Biden's national security advisor at the time, Dr. Colin Cowell, insisted that the CIA officials who gave the former President Obama the presidential daily brief explicitly exclude the Ukraine reports about Biden's corruptive influence. In other words, Biden wanted to hide from his boss Obama that Ukraine thought that he was no less corrupt than they were. So there you go. Told you we were going to get swampy. So what else do we got? Do we have another memo circulating? Yes, another memo circulating around the White House and obtained by Axios suggests that the federal employees on furlough may not receive back pay when the government reopens, just like every other employee in America who gets laid off. When asked about the memo on Tuesday, Trump said it depends on who we're talking about. The Democrats have put a lot of people at great risk and jeopardy, he added. For the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some who don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way. During the White House press availability, White House press availability, Trump also hinted at his broader strategy with the shutdown. He said that in the coming days, the White House will announce federal government jobs that will not be coming back when it ends. On a very encouraging note, he added that you're going to have a lot closer to a balanced budget, actually. Of course, the annual payroll cost of federal bureaucracy is about $200 billion, depending on who you ask. The federal deficit is carrying towards $2 trillion a year. So laying off everyone would still account for a mere 10% dent of a single year deficit. So there you go. We're going to see what happens there. That's going to be an interesting one as we get further into it. No doubt about that one.
Who truly cares what this guy has to say? Who gives a shit? Rated R Safety Show.
Yeah, Rated R Safety Show, no doubt there, as we are talking. So what do we want to talk about next? Okay, let's talk about the numbers, because some people are going to care about that stuff. The Dow fell 91 points to close at 46,602 on Tuesday. The S&P fell 25 points to close at 6,714, and the NASDAQ fell 153 points to close at 22,788. West Texas Intermediate closed at $62 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $65 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.12 on Tuesday, and Bitcoin was down nearly 2% and trading around 122,000.2. The gold prices surpassed $4,000 for the first time ever on Tuesday. So some people are going to be excited about that. And what else? Tonight's Powerball drawing will be for $223 million jackpot or $104.4 million cash payout. So
if you want to play the game,
it's time to do so. So there you go. You have some options for you right there. Okay, so in that freaky news that we were talking about over the last few days, we're going to have to talk about this a little bit more. Mark Sanchez's brother, in a statement about the past weekend stabbing incident, thanking everyone for their concern, love, and support. He also shared that Mark remains under medical care for serious injuries that he sustained. Focus on his recovery as the legal process continues. As the truck driver, he is now suing Sanchez, claiming that he was left permanently disfigured. Prosecutors who updated Sanchez's charges from misdemeanor to a felony on Monday are still awaiting toxicology reports of the former quarterback. This is according to the New York Post. I mean, this one's getting more and more interesting the closer that we get to it. No doubt about that one. So a lot of stuff going on inside of this level of the multiverse, because there's no other way to put it as we are talking. What do you think about this cluster thing? because it is definitely a cluster. I mean, this is not a cool, calm, and collective type of gig that we're talking about. I mean, this is kind of like totally out of the ordinary in regards to what we're talking about. How did this just happen? I don't know how that happened. That's not supposed to be on the screen, so I don't even know how that just occurred. But it did. It did occur, and there's a lot of stuff going on with my screen here. So that's where it even gets more intriguing. I don't know why it keeps on running the same ad for me. Interesting stuff, for sure. If we can get this ad off here, I might be able to show you something. As we are doing a lot of lingo bingo stuff. That's for sure. So, as we are talking about this, what do you think about the whole thing? Because it gets weird. Let's not lie. Because if it didn't get weird, we wouldn't be talking about it. So, let's do this. Let's see if I can get this to come up. If we're on the screener here, we're gonna back this up for a moment. And I don't think there's any level of sound. So there's a picture on the screen, if you're hanging out here, coming from, it looks like the New York Post, of someone walking around in a video that you can see that they're kind of clinging on to their side. So there is some incidents there, and you can definitely tell that the person's bleeding. It shows that it's October the 4th, roughly about 12:30. So there you go. Some stuff going on right there. But definitely some stab wounds going on in that particular fashion. Still trying to figure that one out. It seems like it's an interesting time, just to say the least there. Sorry about that. So there you go. Okay, let's continue talking. Sean Combs asked President Donald Trump for a pardon, though it doesn't appear likely that it will happen. A lot of people have asked me for pardons. I call him Puff Daddy. He was asked me for a pardon, he told reporters. Meanwhile, Combs' attorneys are asking for him that he serve the 50-month sentence at FCI Fort Dix, a low-security prison in New Jersey, where he can work on his drug abuse issues and be closer to his family. This is according to NBC News. When I kept on seeing that thing about Fort Dix, I thought it was a joke. I'm not joking about my joke, thinking that it was a joke when I first read it, because I was like, somebody's messing around with this, but maybe it's a little bit more legitimate than what I thought. So there you go. Okay, take a listen to this one. Denise, divorce drama. A family member of Aaron claims that to have seen him pin his estranged wife, Denise Richards, against the wall and choke her. Kathleen McAllister, who worked for Aaron Holistic Treating Center, recalled a horrific abuse and court this week, saying that he was choking her and her head slammed it against the wall and caused a concussion. McAllister testified on Richards' behalf support for her request of permanent restraining order against Aaron. In her own testimony yesterday, Richards recounted Aaron's abuse while she was recovering from surgery. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Yep. Let's get into that main story thing, because it is 32 minutes past the top of the hour, so a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of what we are talking about.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Let's talk about some rule sets. Let's talk about some things that happen inside of your workplace, inside of my workplace, that we can kind of partner up on and talk a little bit about. So, maybe some similarities in some things that go on. So I have this great opportunity, because it is a great opportunity to be able to go around and talk to a whole bunch of different companies, which is always an interesting time as those things are occurring. And I have to tell you, sometimes I think some of this gets extremely strange, and it's okay, because I just live in a strange world when it comes to certain things. But you are aware that certain organizations have these rules that you cannot avoid. They have these rules that you go, okay, you go in there and they say, can't change that, regardless of what's going on. And two things come to mind right away. There was an organization that I went to that they said that you are required to wear a hard hat 100% of the time. Not sometimes. 100% of the time when you're on the site, you have to wear a hard hat. And of course, the person that I was with, kind of well-known person, turned around and said at the site does that mean when I'm in the bathroom, I have to wear a hard hat if I'm sitting at the stall? And they said, no, not there. So he turned around and said, but you just stated that 100% of the time that you're on the site, you have to have a hard hat. Questioning how that policy would work. And it was this kind of a chuckle thing and referencing about the hard hat on how, some rule sets didn't make sense. And you kind of chuckle that one up of, you're trying to establish a rule, but there's not a really great guideline on how that would work. And there was a discussion there. Then I remember one in particular that I was working at an organization that the letters repeat 3 times at least. And there was this thing that regardless of an accident or an incident, the person was always to be drug tested that was involved. Okay? And I remember a guy jumped into a truck because he was trying to help out, and he took his pickup truck as the general manager of the location, which was kind of a deal breaker because he was not insured for that based on how the insurance worked at this organization. And he went out and started doing some battery deliveries. During this, he was involved in an accident. He was told that he needed to go take a drug test because that's kind of how the policy worked. And his vice president of the organization overrode the policy, saying he did not have to do it because he was the one that was giving the authority not to. But anytime that we had any other incidents, we encouraged, really enforced, that you had to have a drug test before you could come back to work. But the vice president of the organization, or at least of that region, decided that that would not be the use case, making an exception to the rule that we would not do that. So that put us kind of in a weird pickle, because now it was like we made an exception here. How do we make exceptions for others? Because now we're not being across the board the same way. The odd part was that a few weeks ago, I was having a conversation with Mr. Bob Edwards. You're very familiar with him. And he was telling me about an organization that he was at. And they had a rule that every accident that occurred, if it involved the injury, that a person who was injured would have to go for a drug test. So he was telling me about that he was at an organization where a forklift, the forks poked through the wall, injuring a lady that was sitting inside of the break room, injured her leg, if I remember correctly. And she was sent for a drug test besides having to be analyzed for this injury because that fork went through the wall and injured her, and that was part of the process. It was part of the policy of the organization. So why am I telling you all this? It's to think about how sometimes these rule sets that we have don't make sense within the organization. Think about it for a moment. We talked about somebody get poked with a fork through the wall. Injury. We had a VP override a drug test. How did we come up with that? We had a hard hat use inside of a bathroom. Think about this. Do some of these policies and processes that we have make sense in the grand picture? Because sometimes, even though they're great ideas, they're terrible ideas at the same time, too.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
In safety, in my opinion, you woke up. You saw the system, the simulation, the structure that trained you to mistake compliance for care. Safety mutation. Information misdirection picks up where the signal fractured. Because the system didn't shut you down, it rebranded you. It packaged your voice, sold your rebellion as a new initiative, and smiled while doing it.
This isn't a manual. It's a decoded transmission about what happens when slogans replace stories, when safety becomes marketing, and when truth gets mirrored so perfectly, you forget it was ever yours. You'll see the mutation. Learning teams turned into theater, zero harm turned into optics, and feedback turned into formatting. But the signal didn't die. It was redirected.
Safety Mutation is Book 2 of the Signal Transmission Trilogy. Available now in print, Kindle, and audiobook. Narrated by the author J. Allen, Ph.D. Because the system adapted. Now it's your move.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
Embrace a daily boost of nature with Field of Greens. Discover the simple power of one scoop to elevate your well-being. Enjoy the flavor that appeals to you the most and let the blend of organic fruits and vegetables enhance your life. Experience the following benefits with Field of Greens. Noticeable energy increase to power you throughout the day.
Improved quality of sleep.
Enhanced digestive comfort and a general uplift in your wellness. Field of Greens stands out with the selection of organically grown ingredients, each carefully picked for its benefits to your heart and overall health. We are confident that you'll appreciate the benefits of Field of Greens. If it doesn't meet your expectations, we offer a straightforward money-back guarantee. Jumpstart your health journey with a special offer, 15% off your first purchase plus complimentary expedited shipping. Just visit fieldofgreens.com and use the code SAFETYFM to redeem your discount. That's SAFETYFM at fieldofgreens.com. Experience nature's touch at fieldofgreens.com/SAFETYFM. And don't forget to tell them that Jay Allen sent you.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete Signal Transmission Trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion. The book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, All 3 books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at radiobig.fm.
That's why
Okay, here you go. 45 minutes past the top of the hour as we are hanging out here on the Rated R Safety Show. Yep, bringing it all to you. Doing the thing that we get to do, no doubt about that one. All kinds of stuff going on inside of this multiverse as we are hanging out. Anyways, this song right here that's playing, it's called Switch It. It's by ATYYA. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are hanging and banging, doing all kinds of fun stuff, no doubt about that one. Yep, little switch. Got to switch it up there, for sure. We would like to thank ATYYA for allowing us to play this here on the Rated R Safety Show. No doubt about that one, as we are hanging out doing all kinds of fun stuff. No doubt there. Anyways, let me tell you about the most important thing that I will ever tell you
in my lifetime.
And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, there's going to be all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorder, self-injury, suicide, trauma, grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com. To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse as we are hanging out. So with that being said, let's continue talking a little bit more about some other things that are going on inside of the world of the multi, because that's kind of what we do. Take a listen to this. In the world of buffets and bottomless bowls reign, many restaurants are downsizing portions instead of upsizing them. Olive Garden has been testing lighter meals this year, giving diners a break from endless pasta and breadsticks and winning repeat customers in the process. P.F. Chang's has also introduced smaller dishes, while the Cheesecake Factory rolled out bites sections of its famously massive menu. Why the shift? Diners are asking for it. National Restaurant Association survey found that 74% of customers want smaller portions, and 44% admit that they sometimes order from kids' menus to save money and save calories. Experts say that some want smaller entrees due to the fact that they're dining solo, or because they tend to snack during the day and therefore aren't that hungry, or taking GLP-1 drugs to lose weight. So Ozempic saving waistlines but running doggy bags. Okay, so there you go. And let's see, orders less food to say so you can say afford dessert. Genius economics. So there you go. I don't know, it gets interesting. Like last night I ended up going out to a place I'd never been to before. And it's kind of ridiculous, some of the stuff that's on the menus these days. Like, this is no joke as I say the following thing. I'm not paying attention to what I'm ordering. And I ended up ordering a lemonade that has passion fruit juice inside of it. Not realizing that for water, lemon, and passion fruit, this damn thing's $8. And listen, I'm not saying an alcoholic drink, because that wouldn't be me unless it had tequila in it. But $8 for water, lemon, sugar, and passion fruit. Like, what the hell's going on? I was amazed. By the way, let's clock this in here. It is the 8th of October of 2025, 49 minutes past the top of the hour, just in case. But that's crazy to me in regards to the pricing. Anyways, let's do something a little bit more exciting. Let's bring some John Smalls into our life and let him tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com.
The Motivation Minute.
Today's quote was submitted by Tom. Hans Christian Andersen said, "Every man's life is a fairy tale written by God's fingers." What a beautiful quote. I've been working more and more on this, finding more ways to show my appreciation for the many blessings in my life. I'm thankful to God each and every day. I try to start and end every day with a reminder of the many things I'm thankful for, and that is a long list, and it grows each and every day as I realize additional things that I should include. I'm just so happy to have the blessings I have, no matter how big or small. I've noticed that it seems like I'm even more blessed now that I'm more thankful for what I already have.
The Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute, courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com and JaceCaseMedical.com. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
Hello, I'm Richard Exley with your 1-minute devotion. Although we do not normally give fasting the same attention we give prayer and Bible reading, the scriptures put it in the same category. Author Wallace writes in God's Chosen Fast, quote, "Neither did Jesus say, 'if you,' as though fasting were something that disciples might or might not be led to do. He stated unambiguously and without qualification, 'when you fast.' Jesus left us in no doubt that he took it for granted that his disciples would be obeying the leading of the Spirit in this manner of fasting. When you fast, your Father who sees what is done in secret will reward you. Lord Jesus, give us a discipline to fast regularly as part of our devotional life. Amen." If these devotions are a blessing and an encouragement to you, you can subscribe at oneminutedevotion.com.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
The U.S. government shutdown entered its 8th day as Congress remains deadlocked on funding legislation.
Federal workers are furloughed without pay, affecting services from national parks to economic data releases. Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Speaker Mike Johnson held a news conference urging compromise on the budget impasse. The shutdown stems from disputes over enhanced Obamacare subsidies and spending priorities. Liam White reporting.
Israelis are marking the second anniversary of the October 7th, 2023 Hamas attack that killed 1,200 people and led to the abduction of 251 hostages.
Families of the victims gathered at sites like the Nova Music Festival location to lay flowers and light candles in remembrance. Dozens of hostages remain in captivity in Gaza, with relatives expressing ongoing anguish and calls for their immediate release. Ceasefire negotiations between Israel and Hamas have resumed in Egypt, focusing on a U.S. proposed plan to end the war and secure the hostages' freedom. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Negotiators from Israel and Hamas are holding indirect talks in Egypt to discuss a potential ceasefire in Gaza.
The discussions center on a 20-point plan proposed by U.S. President Donald Trump to halt the fighting and facilitate hostage exchanges. Egypt's foreign ministry stated the talks will detail processes to alleviate Palestinian suffering and end the war that began 2 years ago. Only one hostage has been freed recently through a separate U.S.-Hamas arrangement, leaving 48 still held. Joseph Eckerson reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The Trump administration warned that furloughed federal employees may not receive back pay if the government shutdown persists.
President Trump met with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney at the White House to discuss trade amid the funding crisis. The warning aims to pressure Congress into reopening the government quickly. Economic data, including the September jobs report, has been delayed due to the Bureau of Labor Statistics closure. Lawmakers from both parties expressed frustration, with no immediate resolution in sight. Lawrence Keller reporting.
Senator Elizabeth Warren demanded the release of the September jobs report despite despite the ongoing government shutdown.
The data, already collected, is crucial for the Federal Reserve's upcoming interest rate decisions. The Labor Department suspended major economic releases during the funding lapse, including import-export figures due this week. Warren stated the information impacts families nationwide and must be shared promptly. Kevin Sanders reporting.
The Federal Aviation Administration delayed flights into and out of 3 major U.S. airports due to staffing shortages from the government shutdown.
Travelers faced hours-long waits and cancellations at hubs, including Chicago O'Hare and Los Angeles International. Air traffic controllers deemed essential continued working without pay, but reduced personnel led to the ground stops. The FAA cited safety concerns as the primary reason for the disruptions. Kyle Norris reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
Some of the best things in life come to those who wait, but we ain't waiting for shit. Radio Big.
Yeah, that's how it goes from time to time, as we are talking, no doubt about that. Anyways, let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. Back in 2018, New Orleans quarterback Drew Brees becomes the NFL all-time leader in passing yards with 77,888. Brees finishes his career with 80,358 yards. Tom Brady broke the record 3 years later and retired just shy of 90,000 yards. That happened back on this date in 2018. Let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Bella Thorne turns 28. Kylie Russell turns 29. Barbara Palvin turns 32. Bruno Mars turns 40. The Miz turns 45. Nick Cannon, 45 as well. Martin Henderson, 51. Matt Damon, 55. Anne Marie Duff turns 55 as well. Ian Hart, 61. Billy Elliot turns 70. Sigourney Weaver turns 76. Chevy Chase, 82. R.L. Stein, from Goosebumps fame, turns 82. And Jesse Jackson turns 84. Those are the birthdays going on today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, it's National Emergency Nurses Day, National Stop Bullying Day, National Depression Screening Day, and International Podiatry Day. Yeah, International Podiatry Day. Just in case if you were looking for some of that stuff. Now you know. Anyways, let's talk about this. If you need a random joke for today, I am sure I can give you one of those. They say marriages are made in heaven. So let's see. But so thunder is and lightning is as well. So let's think about that for a moment, because that could be kind of weird. Let's see. If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What's the best road trip snack? Road trip snack. What's the best one? Just checking. Okay, so let's take a listen to this one for the water cooler. Despite advances in technology, these are consistently getting slower. What are they? Drive-thrus. Yep, drive-thrus. Just saying. Like, I recently went to a place, all AI, through the drive-thru. Every little bit of it. Nobody ever came out and talked. Once I got to the window, there was somebody there, but everything else was AI-driven. It's pretty good technology, by the way. I'm not going to lie. So that's it. That's going to sum up our time together. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to radiobig.fm for the next couple hours or so. If you want to come and hang out with me and do all the fun stuff that we get to do over there. If you don't want to come over there and hang out, that's perfectly fine. What we can do is have you hang out here on Safety FM. And hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. If you go over to Radio Big with me, I will be talking about the world of music and entertainment. So you have some options there if you want to give that as some opciones. Anyways, that's going to sum it up. Thank you for hanging out with me. If I can leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. I have noticed that nothing I did not say ever did me any harm. I have noticed that nothing I did not say ever did me any harm. Did not say being the crucial portion there. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
That's why